guys, wanted to make another video kind of to go along with some of the exploration videos I'd made before. Had gotten a couple of questions from people in regards to the different fittings for some of the more advanced ships. I know I showed some real basic ones, and so I wanted to show a couple of the fittings I have for the Astero, as well as some fittings for the Tengu, looking at the strategic cruisers for that. So this is the Astero fit that I fly, and so just kind of give you an idea of what that looks like here. So you can actually see all of the items that are fitted to the ship, and then I'll actually simulate this so that you can kind of get a better idea of what that is. So this is the one thing I like about this ship is there's actually a few different things about it, but the biggest part that I appreciate for it is the ability just to fight things off. So you're not sitting there really worried about getting chased off, at least by frigates. So I mean, when you start getting into destroyers, cruisers, you can start to run into trouble, but as far as any other frigates, this ship will be able to fight most off. So from a standpoint of exploration, you have the probe launcher, so Sister's core scanner probe along with Sister's probes gives me on this character 100 points, which will scan down anything short of a superior sleeper cache. You need to throw on at least one range fighting array to do that, but you can scan anything else down with this ship. Obviously Covert Ops Cloak. And then I currently have a MWD fit. This is just for speed, getting around within relic sites and data sites. Allows you to get back and forth faster. The capacitor booster, along with a Navy cap booster 400. This is to keep you cap stable, because when you run the Repper, you are not cap stable, but if you have cap boosters, that allows you to stay stable. I also have a warp scrambler on the ship that allows me to scram people either offensively or defensively. So if I'm actually wanting to hunt people, I can do that, but if somebody jumps in, you also have the opportunity to scram them, which will slow them down if they're MWD fit and might give you a chance to get away if you're trying to escape. And then I use the Zugma integrated analyzer. I use this along with the black glass implant, which gives you the incredibly good hacking skills, which I've covered in my other video. So those are the mid slots, and in the lows, micro auxiliary power core 1. This is to allow me to fit a 400 mm plate. So normally you would see a 100 or 200 mm plate on a frigate. So just to give you an idea, the HP of hull without that plate is 750 with an EHP of 3877. With that plate, it basically doubles it. So it takes you up to 7,000 EHP, 21, almost 21, 25 HP and armor. And then I have a Corelli C-type armor repair, which gives you 131 HP per 4.5 seconds, as well as an adaptive membrane 2, just to increase the resist in the hull. So, and then for the rigs, I have auxiliary nano pump 1, so 2 of those just to increase the power of the repping, and then an ancillary current router, which is just to be able to, as you can see, my power grid and CPU are already close. If you take that away, you don't have enough. So again, this is to enable fitting that oversized plate. So there are several out there. This is obviously a combat fit, but also as far as drones, I carry the Caldari Navy Hornets, Hobgoblin 2s, and then also ECM drones to give you a chance to get away, possibly. The reason I go with the Hornets is they actually have the most shield HP of any of the drones, so you actually have more ability to cycle drones, because the most common fight that I've had with this ship is another Astero, and if you're fighting an Astero, all of the DPS is in the drones. So if you can do a better job of micromanaging your drones than the person you're fighting, you will eventually win the battle, because eventually you will kill all their drones. And if you can manage to do that without losing yours, then you'll be able to win the fight. So that's the Hornets give you really a big edge in that, because they take more to kill. They're not the highest damage drones. They do decent damage, but they also are incredibly hard to kill. So that's the reason I use those drones. So that is my Astero fit. Obviously, this is not cheap. You can see here it's a $313 million fit. Now, a ton of that is right here in the Zugma. That's half the right there, that one analyzer. The hull itself is 53 million. The Repper is 30 million, along with the core scanner probe, and everything else is 5 million under. So really the bulk of that is here in these top 3 to 4 things on the ship. But this is something that I really enjoy exploring in. This, I would say, I use most of the time simply because of the speed. If you look at the navigation, it goes 24, 10 meters per second, which is a lot faster than you would get with a Tengu. But so that's my Astero fit. Let me go ahead and pull up the fit for the Tengu. And I do want to just say right off the top, this is not a amazing fit. I am still learning how to properly fit out my Tengus, but this will give kind of an idea of some things that I've played around with. Okay, actually let me look at this first so you guys can kind of see. So basically this is the fittings that I have on there currently. Jot this down a little bit. And this is looking at a rapid light setup on the Tengu. And let me go ahead and go in here to the simulate. Alright. Just going to throw these in here so that we can actually get an idea of what we're looking at. Okay, so this fit is cap stable at 44%, and so that's what you'll see with the large cap battery. But start at the top, so basically, sorry, I guess to start here. So I have interdiction nullified. So again, this allows you to go through the bubbles. Accelerated ejection, this is the missile fit for offensive. Covert reconfiguration, this is for the hacking, scanning bonuses, as well as the covert cloaking. And then the augmented graviton reactor, which I haven't found a better one to use in my fits, so that's just the one I go with. Obviously covert ops cloak. Scanning, this gives me 109 in the scan strength, so that's really nice. Basically you can scan anything down in this. And then just with these rapid lights, I don't think this character, he may actually have level 2 tier 2 light missiles now, but he didn't at the time I put this fit together, so I'm just using a meta launcher for those. A Caldera Navy large shield booster. Have a relic analyzer here, which could be swapped out for a Zugma if you're trying to do both. Adaptive invulnerability field. Large cap battery, Thucker, which allows to keep against getting neutered out. It has a little better defense. And then running with a 10mm AB. And then 3 Caldari Navy ballistic control systems. So this is not a huge DPS, about 397. The boost rate, let's take a look at this. The shield boost rate is at 108 HPS, so it's a decent boosting rate. 3000 is the shield rate on that. Again, I haven't done a ton with the Tengu just because I simply don't use it that often, which, I mean, in this case, you can see obviously the navigation is 478, so if you're trying to get around a site with an afterburner on, it's going to be miserable. You can switch it out with an MWD. The problem with doing that is you start to run into issues with power, or your capacitor. So you can see right here, my capacitor's already done in 3 minutes. If I have it let's see, here we go. So if I have it off, it can run for 13 minutes, so it's basically indefinitely. But even with the MWD on, I'm basically going at half the speed I would with the Astero. So it's a lot slower to get around. And the other thing is, looking at this fit, is I'm looking at almost $1 billion in the fittings. So between, obviously a lot of that is right here in the ballistic control system, so you could downgrade those, as well as a large shield booster. But for me, it's just, there's not enough that I would make this a regular thing. Normally if I run a Tengu, it's to do exploration sites as far as the combat side. Even if I'm doing, let's say, the superior sleeper caches, I will still normally run those in an Astero, and I will just skip, I think there's 1 or 2 rooms that you really do need the higher tank ship to be able to do it, and I'll just skip those rooms. So I'll basically do the rest of those rooms and just not bother with the last 1 or 2. But other than that, generally I will use the Astero. One of the things I thought about putting is just a bunch of newts on the Tengu, which would give you a better escape, because if you're really trying to get a combat fit, most of the time you're not going to get jumped by something by itself. If you're in a Tengu, you're usually going to get jumped by a gang, because most people wouldn't just jump you just by themselves if they're in a smaller ship. But just to give you an idea, these are some of the different things that I've played around with. And again, obviously I'm not going to try and say this is the best, but just to maybe give you guys a starting point that you can come up with some better fits. So hopefully this helps you guys. Let me know if you have any questions, or really any ideas on other fits you'd like to see, or things you think will work well. Thanks so much.